I'm delighted to be with you, but I'm sorry, it was agreed that I will speak at 11:10 up to 12, and that means that I have only less than 10 minutes to be with you, which is quite frustrating from my side. And I'm sorry for the caricature of what I'm going to say compared to the time I was supposed to spend with you. First, my congratulations to my friend Messier for this wonderful speech and for the launch of a wonderful beginning of a new dimension of your country. To enter into the substance, I would say that what is fundamental for me in the future of Romania will be, one, to be sure that you clearly put in place an efficient rule of law. There is no stable democracy, no stable market economy without a strong rule of law. Rule of law is well known in theory, in textbooks, but it means fights against corruption, inefficiency, low professionalism, to strengthen justice, police, and all dimensions of what is called democracy, which is based on transparency, free press, and many other dimensions I will not detail. But rule of law is the condition for growth and sustainable growth. Nothing can happen without it, as we see. And it's important at a moment where many countries are demonstrating that illiberal democracy does not work, do not work. We saw that in Poland. We see that in many countries where totalitarianism or illiberal democracy don't work. And therefore it's fundamental to develop a rule of law. The second dimension, which is a consequence of that, is to have an efficient state and government administration. As you know, all of you, Romania is supposed to have more than 30% of its GDP coming, an amount of almost 30% of its GDP coming from European Union before 2027, which is quite a huge amount, but it has not to be spoiled, and it will not come if you are not in position to spend it efficiently, as you know, and has been already discussed. Then an efficient state is a condition essential, which means well-paid civil servants. By the way, it's also a tool to avoid corruption. Efficient civil services, the use of new technology as much as possible, good administration, and not only at the top, everywhere in the administration. It's always very disappointing when I go in a country where the government believes that what it says is done. It's not done. If you don't have proper, efficient people in charge at all levels of the society. And I think it's a key point. Strong, efficient state administration without a clear, efficient, and stable rule of law. The third dimension I want to insist is that investment should not be done in any directions. It should be done in the context of the future. The real dangers of the future are linked to the environmental issue. And the investment you have to do are mainly to be done in the sectors which are good for the long-term future of the country. It's what I call economy of life, which means the sectors of renewable energy, renewable infrastructure, healthy food and agriculture, education, health, democracy, security. And if you look at your GDP, those sectors are less than 30% of your GDP, while they should be more than 70% of your GDP. While what I call economy of death, which is everything which is related to oil and fossil fuels, everything which is related to bad agriculture, spoil of different resources, are more than 70% of your GDP. And it would be a shame if the new investments are going into the direction of economy of death and not the direction of economy of life. And the fourth and last element I want to insist is that you have to put your future within the context of a larger Europe. Larger Europe, as it has been said before, Romania is not at the frontier of Europe. Romania should be put in the middle of Europe. And that means that Romania should think of its future as plugged to a Europe where Ukraine, but also on the long term, Russia itself will be part of Europe, as well as all the Balkans. That means that you have to think that as it was done in the past, as a development of something which is a very long-term process, and you should have a plan which could be called Romania 2050. Romania 2050, not only Romania 2030, which is a good point, good step, but far from being enough. 2030 is tomorrow, and you need to think much more long-term, which is the condition of success. Thank you very much.